Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Okay. So we'll see if we can. Hello, folks. Anybody on Facebook yet or YouTube? And let's plug in. Okay, folks, we'll be ready in just a sec. A couple of minutes behind. Shouldn't come as a big shock, I guess. But we will be ready momentarily. I just have to make one, very brief stop. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. All right. Okay, we're just about set. Sorry to have kept you waiting. Just wondering, if you're on YouTube, is there any sound? Would you just, somebody put in the comments if there is? I think last week maybe you lost the sound partway through. Is that possible? Maybe you lost the sound partway through. So if you'd put in the comments if you're getting sound on the YouTube side, that would be great. All right. Well, sorry to keep you waiting. Anyway, we'll get this on the road a little bit. So welcome. April 13th, lucky 13. And so I'll just tune up for a second here, if you'll pardon me. You'll appreciate it in the end. There we go. So, anyway, tonight is, well, to me, I guess it's kind of a little bit of a hometown night, if you will. We're celebrating farmers and farming. You know, all through this COVID mess, you know, most of us have had food to eat, at least here in Canada, and you know, I'd like you to just pause for a second and think about how many meals a day you could eat that didn't trace their way back to a farm somewhere. And I know, you know, in my neighborhood, which is a rural neighborhood, I'm surrounded by farmers, and there's nobody I know who's working any harder to make sure that we've got food on our table. And they're out at the crack of dawn, and you know, once they hit the ground here in the spring, which will just be another week or two, you know, they're there till well after dark often, and they work extremely hard, and their families work hard and give up a lot to make sure that we have enough food and the variety of food that we might like. You know, if you're a potato eater and you know, a potato aficionado, then you would be well aware that there aren't just potatoes. There are hundreds of varieties of potatoes. And they're not just red and white. You know, there's dozens of kinds of red and dozens of kinds of white, dozens of kinds of yellow, and each of them bred to do a specific type of thing. One is, you know, some are for French fries, some are for baking, some are for boiling, some are best in potato salad. I remember, you know, in being involved in the Johnville picnic, and there was always 2 or 3 families who saved a couple of 100 pounds of potatoes from the old crop till August so that they could have them for the potato salad. Because if you're going to make a potato salad, you don't want to make it out of new potatoes. You want to make it out of old potatoes, last year's crop. Anyway, there's lots of reasons, I think, to celebrate farmers, and I think often they get kind of a bad rap. Anytime the price goes up in the grocery store, you'll hear people complaining that, you know, those farmers. And I just want you to know for a fact that very often when the price goes up in the grocery store, it doesn't go up anywhere near going up at the farm gate. In fact, here when the price of beef went up, when the beef plant closed in Alberta, the price at the farm gate went down, even though your price at the grocery store went up substantially, because there was a claim of a shortage. But see, once the beef plant had been closed for a couple of 3 weeks, then there was a surplus. Took a long time for that to get through the food chain. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. We won't dwell on that. But anyway, I have 10 songs, and we should just get right to work. The first one was a song that was written oddly, What did I? Oh, hang on. Cole Porter. This is a song written by Cole Porter. The name escaped me for a moment. Cole Porter was an American composer who was writing through the the 20s through to the 40s and 50s. Wrote a lot of musicals, a lot of Broadway things and things like that. But he wrote this tune, and it didn't really go very far when he first wrote it. And then a little later on, it was picked up, and it was recorded by Bing Crosby, and it was recorded by Frank Sinatra, and it was recorded by Willie Nelson and Leon Russell, and a few other greats. And it's called "Don't Fence Me In." And really, out back of Bath, where I live, there's not a lot of fences, but there's a lot of ground, a lot of wide open ground. And if you ever had the good fortune to drive through the prairies, land, lots of land, right? So here we go. And a 1, 2, 3. Give me land, lots of land under starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please, don't fence me in. Just turn me loose, let me straddle on my saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, let me wander at me yonder till I see the mountain rise. Wanna ride to the ridge where the west commences. Gaze off the moon till I lose my senses. Can't look at hobbles and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. To the top, land, lots of land under starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please, don't fence me in. Well, send me off forever, but I ask you please, don't fence me in. Of course, there are, some farms you'd want fenced in. You don't have to fence in the potato farms or the carrot farms or the onion farms. Some of them you need to fence people out, and but sometimes I guess when you have animals, it's important to have a fence. They are, as they say, good fences make good neighbors sometimes. Anyway, so this next tune, I've done it, I think, a couple of times in the spring, and or maybe once in the spring, once in the fall. And this is an old song by Dick Curlis, who was a singer-songwriter from Holton, Maine, I believe, if my memory serves me. And this was, for those local folks who are listening, this was the theme song for years for the Potato Pickers Special. Every fall there was a radio show on one of the American stations, and I think then it eventually became radio and TV, and it was on WAGM TV too. And it was all about who needed workers in the fall and all of that sort of stuff. They're going on time over to Hubert's and whatever. Anyway, and this was the theme song for that. It's called Tater Raisin Man. Oh, Capo 3 if you're playing along. And that's better. I might be able to sing that. Yeah. Tater, there we go. We got it now. Tater, raisin, tater, raisin man. Tater, raisin, tater, raisin man. Well, he's brown from too much sunshine. He's tired from too much toil. He's wearied of alone trying to scrape out a living out of nothing but a rocky soil. Well, the poor old tater farmer, it's a wonder he ain't dead. I was talking to one just the other day, and I swear here's what he said. He said, I'd pick him up, put him in the barrel, put the big old barrel on the tater. Gonna raise money when you raise these buds, well, you sure need a whole lot of luck. If the blight don't come in the middle of the year and the pickers come when I call, the bank holds off on the money I owe, and the frost don't come too soon this fall. Got 'em in the ground and I can't quit now. You won't find me dreaming. I bet you $5 it's the best year yet, 'cause it looks like I'm gonna break even. Tater, raisin, tater, raisin man. Tater, raisin, tater, raisin man. Well, I got him in the ground and I can't quit now. You won't find me dreaming. I bet you $5 is the best year yet, 'cause it looks like I'm gonna break even. Bet you $5 it's the best year yet, 'cause it looks like I'm gonna break even. Tater Raisin Man by Dick Curtis. Well, now, one of the good things about Canada is we've got farmers in every region of the country. I mean, right across, they're farming, they've got chickens in Newfoundland, and, all kinds of different things in Nova Scotia down in the valley, grapes and tomatoes and carrots, and then in New Brunswick, we've got lots of blueberries, and we've got potatoes, and broccoli and cauliflower, and a few other things. Quebec, man, they grow it all there. Lots of dairy farming. And in Ontario, you've got all kinds of different crops, and that huge ring around Toronto, the Holland Marshes, and then you get out west where, the breadbasket of the world out there, where they raise all the different grains. And then you get to BC, and again, they've got lots of wonderful things, peaches and grapes and all kinds of beautiful fruit in the Okanagan Valley. And anyway, Canada's a pretty good place to eat, that's because there's so many things we grow. And what do we want all the time? We want to get more oranges. Oranges. When we think of all those other things we can get here. And anyway, this is a song that Stan Rogers, great songwriter, originally from Hamilton, Ontario. Spent a lot of time in Nova Scotia. His parents were from Canso, Nova Scotia. And this is a song called Field Behind the Plow, and it was really my father-in-law's favorite song. Well, the favorite song that I did. He had a few favorites, and anyway, it's called Field Behind the Plow, and it's a beautiful song about those great big wide fields out west. And he said he wrote two songs, one for Western farmers and then another one for Western farmers' wives, and we'll do that another night. Anyway, it's called Field Behind the Plow by Stan Rogers. Watch the field behind the plow turn to straight dark roads. Feel the trickle in your clothes. Blow the dust cake from your nose. Hear the tractor's steady roll. Oh, you can't stop now. There's a quarter section more or less to go. And it figures that the rain keeps its own sweet time. You can watch it come for miles
but you guess you've got a while. So ease the throttle out ahead. Every rod's a game, and there's victory in every quarter mile. For on cruising down the road, the heartache hail and hoppers brought him down. He gave it up and went to town. And Emmett Pierce the other day took a heart attack and died at 42. You could see it coming on, 'cause he worked as hard as you. In an hour, maybe more, you'll be wet through. The air is cooler now. Pull your hat brim further down and watch the field behind you. Turn to straight dark roads. Put another season's promise on the ground. And if the harvest's any good, the money just might cover all the loans. You mortgage all you own. Buy the kids a winter coat. Take the wife back east for Christmas if you can. While summer she hangs on, where you're so tied to the land. For the good times come and go, but at least there's rain, so this won't be barren ground when September rolls around. So watch the field behind the plow turn to straight dark roads. Put another season's promise in the ground. And watch the field behind the plow turn to straight dark roads. Put another season's promise in the ground.
Stan Rogers, Field Behind the Plow. So now, there are some people are better at farming than others, and some people, make a go of it, and sometimes things go south, and oftentimes, if you get 2 or 3 bad crops in a row, or not enough rain, there's a lot of reasons that people leave farming, and some of it's just because the bank makes them. But so this is kind of a tongue-in-cheek story of a gentleman who was a farmer in Saskatchewan, and he didn't quite make it, and he turned to a different lifestyle. He became a pirate on the Saskatchewan River. And the source of this song is a group called the Arrogant Worms, who really are as well known for their comedic style as for their music. Anyway, they operated out of right around Kingston, Ontario, I think. They used to play on Wolf Island fairly regularly, and used to sing about Wolf Island Ferry is a very nice ferry. It's a very nice ferry. Wolf Island Ferry. We won't do it all. Well, we almost did. Anyway, this is called The Last Saskatchewan Pirate, courtesy of the Arrogant Worms. And I'm going to do this just where my voice is sitting tonight. I'm going to do this Let's go to capo 2 if you're using a capo. If you're not, we just change the key to D. And,
well, I used to be a farmer and I made a living fine. I had a little stretch of land along the CP line. Times were tough and though I tried it, money wasn't there. The bankers came and took my land and told me fair was fair. I looked for every kind of job, the answer always no. I hire you now, they'd always laugh, we just let plenty go. The government, they promised me a measly little sum, but I've got too much pride to end up just another bum. And then I thought, who gives a damn if all the jobs are gone? I'm gonna be a pirate on the river Saskatchewan. And it's heave-ho, hi-ho, coming down the plains, stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains. It's hey-ho, hi-ho, farmers bar your doors, and you see the Jolly Roger on Regina's mighty shore. Well, I think the local farmers would know that I'm at large, but just the other day I found an unprotected barge. I stuck up right behind them and they were none the wiser. Rammed the ship and sank it and stole their fertilizer. Bridge outside of Moose Jaw stands a mighty river. Farmers crossing so much near their stomachs are a quiver, 'cause they know that Tractor Jack is hiding in the bay. Jump the bridge and knock them cold and wake off with their hay. And it's heave-ho, hi-ho, coming down the plains, stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains. It's hey-ho, hi-ho, farmers bar your door, and you see the Jolly Roger on Regina's mighty shore. Well, Mountie Bobby chased me, always at my throat. He followed on the shorelines 'cause he didn't own a boat. But contacts were a-comin' and the Mountie lost his job. So now he's sailing with me and we call him Salty Bob. The swinging sword of Skull and Bones is pleasant company. I never pay my income tax and screw the GST. Sailing out to Saskatoon, the terror of the seas. You wanna get reach the co-op, you gotta get by me. And it's heave-ho, hi-ho, coming down the plains, stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains. It's hey-ho, hi-ho, farmers bar your doors, when you see the Jolly Roger on Regina's mighty shore. Well, pirate life's appealing, but you don't just find it here. I hear in North Alberta there's a band of buccaneers. They roam on the Athabasca from Smith to Fort McKay. You're gonna lose your Stetson if you have to pass their way. Winter is a-comin' and the chill is in the breeze. My pirate days are over once the river starts to freeze. I'll be back in springtime, but now I have to go. I hear there's lots of plundering down in New Mexico. Oh! And it's heave-ho, hi-ho, coming down the plains, stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains. It's hey-ho, hi-ho, farmers bar your doors, when you see the Jolly Roger on Regina's mighty shore. And it's heave-ho, hi-ho, coming down the plains, stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains. It's hey-ho, hi-ho, see the Jolly Roger on Regina's mighty shore. When you see the Jolly Roger on Regina's mighty shore. Arr! The last Saskatchewan pirate. I'm not sure that would be a very lucrative trade. You'd have to get some pretty significant amounts of that grain, I think. All right, well, we're back to potatoes. So, as much as it's troublesome and might get me in a scrape with my neighbors, there's really one potato song that the world is familiar with, and that would be, that's right, Bud the Spud by Stompin' Tom. And Stompin' Tom was actually born in New Brunswick, in St. John, and he worked his way over. He went to the island, and
and adopted it. Though he still was very fond of New Brunswick. You know, he wrote about marrying me. And anyway, but we're gonna do Bud the Spud, and I'd like to absolve myself of the howls and catcalls from the ladies and gentlemen of Carleton County. But if you know, they work hard on the island too, right? There you go. Anyway, so Bud the Spud by Stompin' Tom. Oh, and I'm going capo 2 on this. Well, it's Bud the Spud from the bright red mud, rolling down the highway smiling. Spuds are big on the back of Bud's rig, they're from Prince Edward Island. Now from Charlottetown or from Summerside, they load him down for the big long ride. Jumps in the cab and he's off to the prize of Eggles. Gotta catch the boat, Tormentine. He hits up the old New Brunswick line. Now Montreal, now he's just flying another big load of potatoes. And it's Bud the Spud from the bright red mud, rolling down the highway smiling. Spuds are big on the back of Bud's rig, they're from Prince Edward Island. Now the Ontario Provincial Police don't think much of Bud. Yeah, the cops have been looking for that son of a gun who's been ripping the tar off the 401. You know the name of the truck shines under the sun, Green Gables. But he hits Toronto at 7 o'clock when he backs the rig up at the terminal dock. Boys all gather around to hear him talk about another big load of potatoes. Cause it's Bud the Spud from the bright red mud, rolling down the highway smiling. Spuds are big in the back of Bud's rig, they're from Prince Edward Island. Now I know a lot of people from east to west, they like the Spuds from the island best or New Brunswick, because they'll stand up to the hardest test right on the table. But when you see the big truck rolling by, wave your hand and try to wink your eye, because that's Bud the Spud from PEI, another big load of potatoes. Everybody, and it's Bud the Spud from the bright red mud, rolling down the highway smiling. Spuds are big from the back of Bud's rig, they're from Prince Edward Island. And it's Bud the Spud from the bright red mud, rolling down the highway smiling. Because he's got another big load of the best doggone potatoes that's ever been growed. And they're from Prince Edward Island, or maybe Carleton County, or maybe Carleton County. Some say Prince Edward Island. There we go. I got that little plug in there. I bet you hardly noticed. All right. Well, this next song is, farming is farming isn't a great place to meet girls. You know, when you're a young man and you're farming, it's not always considered the most attractive occupation for a woman of substance and breeding. And but they say all types takes all types to make a world, and there are those what are looking to be a farmer's partner. They and this is a song about one of them. There are some women who they're attracted by a lot of different things. Women are that and hopefully enough things, right? But some are attracted by they're attracted to fancy cars, and some are attracted to a nice home, or maybe someone who plays the guitar. That's possible, isn't it? And hang on. There. Anyway, but this young woman is she's attracted to this gentleman's tractor. And this was a song by Kenny Chesney, around 2000. I didn't think it was that old, but I don't think I'm this old either, so what do I know? Anyway, it's a fun little tune. I just have to get it in my head. Okay, and the other thing, when you get right down to it, I mean, if you got somebody who's finds a Lamborghini, attractive, a new tractor today would be about the same price, right? And would hold its value a lot longer. Really, they'd be, in that sense, they would be a much better investment than a Lamborghini. Anyway, there you go. This is called "She Thinks My Tractor is Sexy." Plowing these fields in the hot summer sun, over by the working Lordy, here she comes. Full of chicken and a big cold jug of sweet and big cold jug of sweets. Sorry, I forgot a chord change. I'm going back, all right? Plowing these fields in the hot summer sun, over by the gate, Lordy, here she comes. Basket full of chicken and a big cold jug of sweet tea. You know where they're from, yeah. I make a little room and he climbs on up. Open up the throttle and stir a little dust. Look at her face, she ain't fooling me. Thinks my tractor's sexy, it really turns her on. She thinks she's always staring at me. Well, I'm chugging along. She likes the way it's pulling when we're tilling up the land. She's even kind of crazy about my farmer's tan. She's the only one who really understands and gets me. She thinks my tractor's sexy. We're riding back and forth till we run out of light. Take it to the barn, put it up for the night. Climb up in the loft and sit and talk with the radio on. She said she's got a dream and I asked her what it is. She wants a little farm and a yard full of kids. One more teeny weeny ride before I take her home. She thinks my tractor's sexy, it really turns her on. She's always staring at me. Well, I'm chugging along. She likes the way it's pulling when we're tilling up the land. She's even kind of crazy about my farmer's tan. She's the only one who really understands what gets me. She thinks my tractor's sexy. She ain't into cars or pickup trucks, but it runs like a deer, man, her eyes light up. She thinks my tractor's sexy. It really turns her on. She's always staring at me. Well, I'm chugging along. She likes the way it's pulling when we're tilling up the land. Even kind of crazy about my farmer's tan. She's the only one who really understands and gets me. She thinks my tractor's sexy. Thinks my tractor's sexy. She thinks my tractor's sexy. Kenny Chesney strikes again. And I guess if you're a young farmer, you want to hope that's the case, wouldn't you? So, now, one of the things that, two of the things that made me think about doing this theme tonight were my sister and my niece, who were over at Sunday dinner, and they were commenting that this week in Carleton County is the spring show and sale. And those of you locally who, have been involved in farming would be probably familiar with the spring show and sale. It's not something you're really familiar with if you're not involved in farming, but this often. But it's a big event, and all of the kids, especially the kids in 4-H, they raise cattle to put them in the show and sale. And my two nieces and nephew who grew up here have they've done pretty well with the spring show and sale tradition. And they've had cows in them for a number of years over the years, and they go to auction, but they're pretty realistic kids. They knew that the goal was to raise these cattle to sell, to become food on somebody's table. And they had some interesting names for the cows over the years. One of the kids called it hamburger, and another one called it steak, or maybe steak frit. And then there was my nephew had one he called his college fund. And they're learning the ways of the world doing this. But this year, the Spring Show and Sale Committee has sponsored a best burger competition in our local area. And if you're, maybe from Woodstock or Perth Andover and you haven't come down, all the local restaurants, the Diner in Bath, the Diner Down Under, and Sharky's in Bristol, or Florenceville, Bristol, and the On the Boardwalk in Florenceville, and Grandma's in JP's up on River to Shoot, and I think maybe the River in Woodstock and Murray's in Woodstock. I hope I've got them all. Anyway, they all have a special burger that they've designed to compete. And you go and you try the burger, and if you think it's the best one, you take a picture and you vote, and you send it off to the show and sale. There's information about it at the restaurants. And so I thought, well, that this would require a burger song, and what better burger song than a little Jimmy Buffett Cheeseburger in Paradise. So here we go. The Cheeseburger in Paradise, dedicated to the spring show and sale. I believe they're having maybe the auction is tomorrow. The show was mostly today, I think. So anyway, here you go, spring show and sale, and I think the burger contest maybe only goes till tomorrow. Might end today. You might have missed it. Anyway, some great burgers out there. Well done, whoever came up with that idea. What a great idea. Anyway, so here we go. Cheeseburger in Paradise. Try to amend my carnivorous habits. I made it nearly 70 days. Losing weight without speed, eating sunflower seeds. Drinking lots of carrot juice, soaking up the rains. But at night I'd have these wonderful dreams. Some kind of sensuous treat. Not zucchini, fettuccine, or Bulgar wheat, but a big warm bun and a huge hunk of meat. Cheeseburger in paradise. Not too expensive and not too precise. Sorry. The car just drove in outside and I lost my spot. Anyway, cheeseburger in paradise. Heaven on earth with an onion slice. Not too particular, not too precise. I'm just a cheeseburger in paradise. I heard about the old time sailor men. Eat the same thing again and again. Warm beer and bread, they said, could raise the dead. Well, it reminds me of the menu at the Holiday Inn. But times change and sailors these days. When I'm in port, I get what I need. Not just Havanas or bananas or daiquiris, but that American creation on which I feed. Cheeseburger in paradise. Heaven on earth with an onion slice. Not too particular, not too precise. I'm just a cheeseburger in paradise. I like mine with lettuce and tomato. Mine's 57 and French fried potatoes. Big kosher pickle and a cold draft beer. Good God Almighty, which way do I steer for mine? Cheeseburger in paradise. Making the best of tries to get a cheeseburger in paradise. Cheeseburger in paradise. Cheeseburger in paradise. I'm just a cheeseburger in paradise. Cheeseburger in paradise. Jimmy Buffett. For all the parrot heads out there. Well, so this next tune is a tune by a wonderful songwriter named Nanci Griffiths. It's from the southern United States. I think Texas, but I wouldn't want to swear to that. Anyway, and this is a song, farming is, farming really, the advent of agriculture really is what shifted us from being nomadic tribes wandering aimlessly from season to season to, parking somewhere and building towns and villages that we could continue to live in because we could actually raise food rather than follow the migration of the various herds that we were hunting. I say we advisedly, it's not like I was there. I'm old, but I'm not that old. So there's, but over the years, farming has had its ups and downs. And, they talk about the dirty 30s and the Dust Bowl days. And this is a song that harkens back to that a little bit. And it's called Trouble in Our Fields by Nanci Griffiths. Hang on. You'll appreciate it. I'll just tune this up. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Baby, I know that we've got trouble in our fields. When the bankers swarm like locusts out there turning away our yield. Trains roll by our silos, silver in the rain, and leave our pockets full of nothing but our dreams and the golden grain. And all this trouble in our fields, if this rain can fall, these wounds can heal. They'll never take our native soil. But if we sell that new John Deere, and then we'll work these crops with sweat and tears, you'll be the mule, I'll be the plow. Come harvest time, we'll work it out. There's still a lot of love here in these troubled fields. Have you seen the folks in line downtown at the station? They're all buying their tickets out and they're talking the Great Depression. Parents had their hard times 50 years ago when they stood out in these empty fields in dust as deep as snow. And all is trouble in our fields. If this rain can fall, these wounds can heal. They'll never take our native soil. And if we sell that new John Deere, then we'll work these crops with sweat and tears. You'll be the mule, I'll be the plow. Harvest time, we'll work it out. There's still a lot of love here in these troubled fields. There's a book up on the shelf about those Dust Bowl days, and
little bit of you and a little bit of me in the photos on every page. Now our children live in the city and they rest upon our shoulders. They never want this rain to fall or the weather to get colder. And all this trouble in our fields, if this rain can fall, these wounds can heal. They'll never take our native soil. What if we sell that new John Deere? Then we'll work these crops with sweat and tears. You'll be the mule, I'll be the plow. Come harvest time, we'll work it out. There's still a lot of love here in these troubled fields. You'll be the mule, I'll be the plow. Come harvest time, we'll work it out. There's still a lot of love here in these troubled fields.
Trouble in Our Field, Nancy Griffiths, wonderful songwriter. Well, so this is a tune I did in the spring, and I've tried to, work it out a little better. I think I've been successful, but you can be the judge. Anyway, this is a song by a Western and Alberta songwriter named Corb Lund. And Corb, actually, I think if you were listening to CBC this morning, I believe Corb was on cue this morning. I had something going on. I think I was rehearsing, so I missed it, but I'm going to go back and have a listen. Anyway, he's got a new album out. He's got like 8 or 10 albums out. He's a pretty prolific songwriter. And what is it? There was a phrase they used this morning that he writes, maybe, I think he called it tragic country. I can't remember. It was something like that. Or tragic agricultural country. Anyway, whatever it is. He's a great songwriter. And, and he does write a lot about, being in Alberta and being a farmer and coming from a farming family. And this is one of those. And, there are a lot of kinds of farming. We're pretty used to potato farmers around here. And, if you were living in the Okanagan Valley, maybe you'd be used to grape farmers or, various different places. And, but in Alberta, grain is big, but cattle are big. They have, that's where a lot of the big feedlots are, and they raise thousands and thousands of head of cattle. And any kind of farming seems to get in your blood. And I do know a few folks. I have a brother-in-law who's a cattle farmer here, and once people get, they get cows, they do cows, and cows become the way they operate. And this song maybe gives you some rationale as to why. It's a bit tongue-in-cheek, but Corb Lund's version is, you always should have cows around. And so, and it's kind of an up-tempo tune too. If you don't want to sing, this is a great tune to dance to. And there's even a little break in there where you can dance and sing the rest of it. Anyway, it's called Everything's Better with Cows Around.
Better with some cows around. Living in town sometimes brings me down. Me bestow this Western blessing, share what I have found. May you always have cows around. What else you gonna spend that extra money on? What else is gonna get you up hours before dawn? What else is gonna keep you toiling on and on and on? We'll always have cows around. Come on, you know that you've got too much time on your hands. not nearly enough complication in your plans. You need to invite all of the frustration that you can. May you always have cows around. Well, everything is better with some cows around. Living in town sometimes brings me down. He bestowed this western blessing, leave you saddle bound. May you always have cows around. What else could make a bishop swear like a sailor might? What else could cause some tension between a man and his wife? What else could ever bring all these enhancements to your life? May you always have cows around. What else is gonna get out when you don't close the gate? What else is gonna make you prematurely show your age? What else will take a run at you in a fit of bovine rage? May you always have cows around. Well, everything is better with some cows around. Living in town sometimes brings me down. Although this western blessing leaves you cattle bound, may you always have cows around. And what kind of cows, Corb? Well, there's her third Highland Simmental, Welsh Black and Maine, Tiana Limousin, Shorthorn, Charolais, 1-2C2, Texas Longhorn, Kern, Galloway, and Angus, Brahma, Frankish, Jersey, Guernsey, Holstein. Hey! This is the dance portion. Two-step, let's go. You might have let them dig for oil and gas. You might have turned the place into an exotic game ranch. You might have had to do all kinds of things to raise the cash, so you'd always have cows around. How else you gonna lose it like Daddy did? What else will make you sure you leave nothing for your kids? It's too late now, you know it is, you just as well admit it. You've a badly flawed and sentimental masochisticness, and despite all the statistics and advice that you can get, you will always have cows around. Because everything is better with some cows around. Living in town sometimes brings me down. Won't you know that you've been missing till you hear that sound? May you always have cows around. One more time. Well, everything is better with some cows around. Living in town sometimes brings me down. Won't know just what you're missing till you hear that sound. May you always have cows around. May you always have cows around. Cows Around by Corb Lund. Oh, well, I think we have one more tune left. And this in Canada is probably one of the best known, if not the best known song for farmers. And I will finish up with this. This is a tune, it was a big hit for a man named Murray McLaughlin, Cousin Murray, really, yeah, no relation really. Though, great songwriter, very nice man, nice guy. We've had him through on the Arts Council a couple of times, and anyway, this was, as I say, a big hit for Murray. But as we close off, I would just, nod. If I had it, I'd lift my hat to all those farmers out there. And you're coming into spring. You can see, the energy is starting to pick up here in the neighborhood. There's
vehicles moving and people are getting machinery out, and it's an exciting time. And you see, you know, all of a sudden everybody's on the land and the whole neighborhood is busy, and people are, you know, doing what they do best, which is growing food for the rest of us, which is, you know, I would say that would classify as an essential service. And so thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the farm. And we appreciate your efforts, and I hope you keep it up, because, you know, those tables would look some bare without you. Anyway, so this is the Farmer's Song by Murray McLaughlin, and we'll join right in. This one, you all know this one. So, and I think it says it's the reverse of all those others that didn't have a capo. I put one on. This says capo 1, and I'm not going to put one on. So I may live to regret that.
Dusty old farmer, I'm working your fields, hanging down o'er the old tractor wheels. Sun beating down turns the red paint to orange, rusty old patches of steel. No farmer songs on that car radio, just cowboys, truck drivers, and pain. Well, this is my way to say thanks for the meal, and I hope there's no shortage of rain. Straw hats and old dirty hankies, mopping the face like a shoe. Thanks for the meal, here's a song that is real, from a kid from the city to you. It's all true except the city part. Straw hats and old dirty hankies, mopping a face like a shoe. Thanks for the meal, here's a song that is real, from the kid from the city to you. Combines gang up, take most of the bread. Things just ain't like they used to be. The kids are out after the American dream, they're working in big factories. If I come by when you're out in the sun, can I wave at you just like a friend? These days when everyone's taking so much, there's somebody giving back to you. Everybody, straw hats and old dirty hankies, mopping the face like a shoe. Thanks for the meal, here's a song that is real, for the kid from the city to you. Straw hats and old dirty hankies, mopping a face like a shoe. Thanks for the meal, here's a song that is real, from the kid from the city to you. Farmer's Song by Murray McLaughlin. So with that, we're going to call it a night. Thank you all for stopping in, and I hope we'll see you next week. And as usual, if you've got some requests, send them along. I've got a list that's, I think we'll maybe put it together and do it all, hit request night again in a few weeks. We'll see what happens, but you know, we'll just play that by ear. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you sang along, and I hope you're back next week. And bring a friend. We'll have a good time. And as is always the case, you know, this will be sitting here on the Facebook site or the YouTube site. For, you know, through the week, you can find them by date, and you know, have a listen if you want to. Send it to a neighbor if you like, and if you don't, that's okay too. And we will be back to sing along next week on Quarantine Tuesday, which I believe next week will be April 20th. Thank you very much, and good night. Take care. Keep wearing your mask.
vaccination.